Hey everybody, it is Jason from the Texas Gun Vault, and I'm very sorry about the hum you're probably hearing of my fan in the background. It is just really hot in the garage this afternoon. So in order for me to make this video for you, I gotta have this thing on because it's hot, and I'm kind of powering through making a video today about the top 5 guns of my collection because I've gotten through the, top 25. I've done it in 5 gun increments. And the video that I'm making today is the top 5 most valuable or sentimental guns to me. So that could be either financially valuable or sentimentally valuable or both. But it's hot out here in the garage. But I wanted to come to you guys with a video about, 3 things. Number one, another upcoming projects video because I was able to return the Syrian contract high power pistol back to its owner Richard, and he had another awesome gun for me to try out. I'm going to get that right here. And if you guys are interested in seeing that high power video, because I know a lot of times people say, hey, I know you said you reviewed it, I haven't seen it. I always release it for my Patreons early, so I got to give them time to see it, and then of course the people that lend the gun to the channel time to see it. So normally I put new videos that I make, I put it in the queue out about 2 weeks. So if you see some type of upcoming project video here or me talk about a gun and you don't see it for a couple weeks, that's what's going on. But I want to show you a real cool piece of what I think is firearm history today. And this is the joy of having a channel like this. I shoot the latest and greatest tactical stuff. I've also shot some awesome milsurp stuff. And then I have these guns of interest, and that's what this one is. So let me show you what I got here. I'm curious if anybody knows what that is, of course, before I say it. Obviously, it's a 1911, but it's a long slide 1911. And the barrel length on this is 6.5 inches, which actually makes this one kind of unique and interesting. But I want to talk about this one. So I returned that Syrian high power, and my friend Richard had another gun from one of his friends that wanted me to review it. So I'm going to make 3 videos on this because it's so interesting. I'm going to have a range report. I'm going to have a from the vault because there's so much about this gun to talk about. And I'm also going to do a field strip video on it because it's kind of an oddity. So I'll get 3 videos out of this bad boy. But let's talk about specifically what makes this one very special. What makes this one special is not as much what it is, but who made it. This gun was made by a legendary gunsmith. His name was Jim Clark Sr. Now, he was a world champion competition shooter back in the 50s and 60s. And he's from Louisiana, and he opened a custom gun shop when he retired from competition shooting called Clark Customs. And they're still in business today. And they were known for making high-end, very accurate competition 1911s. And the competitions of that era were a little bit different than the competitions today. Today with the, like the run and gun style, we go for quick and accurate. But back then, they were going for things like bullseye. So they wanted to be the most accurate firearm that you could possibly have. And so Jim Clark Sr., who, by the way, is also Jerry Miculek's father-in-law. Now, Jim Clark Sr. passed away in 2000. His son took over the company. He unfortunately passed away, I believe, in 2015. But the company is still family-owned. But this is one of Jim Clark Sr.'s guns from like the mid-60s. I want to say 65. And back then, they didn't have all the machining and stuff that we have today. So what he did, essentially, was buy used, surplus, or demilled 1911 parts from the military. And the story that I got was he would buy these barrels of frames and slides for like 10 cents a part. I mean, super cheap. They might be demilled, they probably didn't work, but he would take them and turn them into guns. So that's what we have here. I'll kind of explain what this is, and Richard did some research on this. So let me get this piece of paper here. The frame of this particular pistol is a Remington Rand from 1945. So it was made right at the end of World War II. It is U.S. property marked. And it has all the acceptance marks that the original pistol would have had. Now, something on this frame that has been done, I guess they call it the tiger's tooth, kind of front stippling to this, and this is a hallmark of Jim Clark Sr.'s work. That's another way that you know it was him. Now, the slide is made from multiple slides, and there's a couple of markings on it, and the serial number says that the parent slide, or the slide here, the main part of the slide, is from a 1917 Colt 1911 that went to the Marine Corps. So it could have seen action in World War I. And so what he would do is he would take multiple slides, cut them, fuse them together, weld them, and then blend them in. And that's how he would get those longer slides. Now the barrels, I'm assuming, were custom made. I don't know if he made them in-house or had to contract somebody to make them. And he could put on custom sights, as you saw here. He would polish them, refinish them. But in the 1960s, these things were something special. Now, I think to a lot of collectors today, they would look at taking these original frames and slides as defacing history. It would lower the value. You know, if you're into collecting historical 1911s, you want something that's close to the way it came off the line and issued to troops as possible. So if you refinish the gun, you add things to it, change out parts, it devalues it. But on the case of this gun, because it was made by a legendary gunsmith, I think it goes up in value. Now, a lot of people today don't know Jim Clark Sr. as well as maybe they know other famous people in the firearms world. But he was really a standard bearer for creating guns like this. And to look at his work and have one here on the table is really, really cool. And I think to some 1911 collectors, a gun like this is a must-have. So to have one here and to kind of be able to hold it is cool. Richard says that when I take the slide off, I'll see markings on the inside, and you can see the date codes and the way that he did it. He actually, I guess, stamped his initials when he built the gun, so those are going to be internal. And he also put a code, a 3-digit code of the month and the year he made it. So the gun itself would have been made in 1965. I think he said 865, so was that August? But it had another mark, so the gun probably came back in for work, and it was in the 1970s. And Jim Clark Sr. stopped working on guns like this and making them in the 1980s. Now, other companies have copied the concept and have made complete guns out of, one piece of steel. But this is back in the day when they were made a different way. It is just really, really cool and interesting to see and to have one here on the table. The person that lent this to the channel said that it was held, I guess, in a bathroom for a while, in a bathroom closet. So that's the story that I heard. So it has some rust internally that I think Richard had to fix, but I'm glad that it survived. I'm really glad that it was able to survive. It has a really interesting trigger shoe on it. As you can see, makes that trigger wider. And the controls are either nickel or stainless. I would have to bet probably nickel if it's from this era. But a very, very interesting pistol. So when I make the range report, I'm going to give full credit to everybody, especially the owner of this pistol. So I want to thank everybody that helps me get a chance to shoot these and review these. So this is going to be a really, really interesting review. And range report from the vault video and a field strip video. So that is definitely cool. But another thing I want to talk to you guys about today is the YouTube, I don't know if I should say AI or algorithm, and see what you guys are noticing. Now, I was watching a Yankee Marshall video recently. It just popped up in my feed. It was about a topic that I thought was interesting, so I watched it, and he made a passing comment about some problems he's having with subscribers. Not the people themselves, but the numbers that he sees from YouTube. Because if you're a content creator, you get to see all these analytics. You can follow all these numbers. You can see how long people watch videos, when they watch videos. They give you all that information. And sometimes when you're a growing channel, you kind of follow the numbers, and and I'll alter things like the release of my videos. Like most people, for example, are on YouTube, watching YouTube between 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. Monday through Thursday. And there's a big spike on Wednesday, and then over the weekend, not as much. So I try to make sure my videos come out during peak hours and that kind of stuff. But to get back to the subscribers, he had mentioned in a passing comment that he's been stuck at a certain subscriber level for a long time. And he'll see it change. Like it will go up a few thousand. He's a bigger channel, 360-something thousand, subscribers. But then all of a sudden, he'll wake up the next day and it goes back to the original number. And it goes back to the same number every time. So obviously YouTube is either unsubscribing people, throttling the channel, or doing something behind the scenes, whatever it is. Now, I don't see that, but I saw something recently happen on my channel, which, of course, on my main channel is very small right now. I passed, I want to say, 6,300 subscribers. And I noticed that because on my YouTube Creator Studio app, it notified me when I get to the next, level of 100. I was happy about that. And then when I went on to the app itself, it said I had 6,253 subscribers. I was like, well, where'd those subscribers go? But the very next morning, my subscriber numbers bumped up by over 150. So I know that many people didn't subscribe overnight, but I think it was subscribers that YouTube didn't recognize as subscribers. I know they're trying to do a good job of getting rid of bots, fake accounts, and the people that spam. We had a hard time for a while where you would make a video, and many times the people that would comment, or it's not really people, the bots that would comment, it'd be like an icon of like a pretty young lady. It'd be like, oh, hi guys, I'm single, follow me at, and it'd be like a link to some inappropriate website. And obviously it's a bot, okay? It just goes around to channel after channel and new videos that get found, and it just posts that ad, hoping that if, they're just casting a wide net, hoping to get somebody to click on it, and then they'd steal their information or whatever. And it was annoying, and then YouTube gave us the ability to adjust our comments for reviews. So for example, I have mine set where if somebody curses, there's like a list of words that I can add, and immediately goes to a review. So I can approve it or not approve it, but it doesn't be shown until I approve it. So if you drop the F-bomb or you say something inappropriate or other words that people use, maybe it's a disparaging remark of me, it immediately goes for a review, and I can just, from that point, I can delete the comment, ban the person, or approve the comment, or whatever. And you can also put it where you can block links. And I do that as well. So if somebody sends a link or posts a link, I have to review it first to make sure it's legitimate. And sometimes people are like, hey, I reviewed this gun too. Here's a link to that review. What do you think? That's fine. But if people try to, like, I don't know, link to inappropriate things or whatever, it blocks it. And I'd have to review it, but often I just delete it and ban the person. But anyway, I've just noticed that these YouTube subscriber numbers have been all over the place, and it's weird. And I'm curious, if you're a content creator, are you noticing this? And is it something that's just affecting like gun channels, or is it something that is affecting YouTube as a whole? So that's question number one. Issue number two that I want to talk about is also about GunTube and YouTube. And I don't know if this is happening organically, or if because of YouTube rules, people are tending towards this type of content more, or if it's a watch bias on my part because of who I'm subscribed to and what I watch and what YouTube thinks I want to watch. I am noticing more and more gun channels, and by gun channel, I mean a channel that talks about firearms in some capacity. The channels that are growing the quickest right now are the ones that don't even show guns. I know, some of you guys are thinking, what are you talking about? A gun channel that doesn't show guns? Yeah, a gun channel that doesn't show guns. Because we've seen this growth of things like firearms legal channels, which is fine. Obviously, they're not going to be doing gun reviews, but you got like Armed Attorneys, Armed Scholar, Four Boxes Diner, Washington Gun Law, Guns and Gadgets, whatever. Those are the ones that I know off the top of my head. They're growing in popularity exponentially. but none of them show guns. Like, they don't talk about guns, they don't talk about models of guns, what's happening. It's all legal stuff. And those seem to be taking off quicker than the channels that actually show guns, shoot guns, talk about guns. And when I kind of go through, like going through my subscription list of all the gun channels that I personally watch, I'm noticing this more and more. Another example would be the Yankee Marshal. Now, I have kind of a love-hate thing with him. Sometimes I really like his attitude and how he approaches things. I know he's not for everybody. Sometimes he makes me laugh, and sometimes I get mad at him. Okay, so it's not like I'm a diehard fan or anything. But sometimes I'll watch him just because he ticks people off. Sometimes I'll watch him because he kind of approaches things in a way almost like I do, where it's just like he has an opinion, and I gotta respect him for holding strong to his opinions. But I've noticed he doesn't show firearms content anymore. Like, he doesn't like show guns he's bought. He might show a picture of a gun, but he doesn't handle a gun on camera anymore. Like, I used to love it when he would do things on like how to fit grips or how to bead blast a finish, and some of his old videos were really instructive, especially like his tutorial videos, or he would do like a collection video. I used to love those videos. But he doesn't do those anymore. And I'm noticing that other channels are kind of following suit. They're becoming more dialogue channels. Now, I know me here at the Texas Gun Vault too, I kind of do that here, but I am handling firearms, as you can see. I got guns here on the table for a video. But are you guys noticing more and more channels are not showing guns or handling guns? And I'm curious if that is because YouTube is promoting those channels more than the channels that do handle guns, or is it because content creators are either consciously or unconsciously creating content that is more YouTube guideline appropriate? So the less you have a gun in your hand, the better. Now, that is not saying that other gun channels are not making gun content. Obviously they are, you know, the big channels, but they're also posting less and less. And when I go to their Social Blade accounts, or you can see their growth, I've noticed that instead of going on this upward slope, they're starting to taper off a little bit. And I'm just curious, is that YouTube trying to manipulate gun content? Or is it the community as a whole has decided we don't want to see guns anymore? We're tired of that. We want to talk about guns and legal stuff. Or is it people trying to stay on the good side of, you know, the social media platforms and creating content that isn't even considered borderline? Like, you know, you're not going to get in trouble with it. So sitting and talking about a gun law or a gun bill isn't going to get you banned because you're not cursing, you're not showing any inappropriate content, and you're not handling a firearm. So what can they do? You're just talking about the news, therefore it's perfectly fine. So are you guys noticing this? I have no answer right now, but I'm curious what you guys are seeing, because this is how I think the social media platforms manipulate communities and people without people even noticing. But I'm just kind of in the early stages of formulating my thoughts on this. So what do you guys think? You guys excited to see a review on this Clark Custom long slide 6.5-inch barrel? Only about 100 of the 6.5 inches were ever made. 1911, made by the OG great 1911 gunsmith himself. So, and I guess talk about YouTube and what's going on. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I look forward to hearing your responses. And maybe I'm completely off base because I have a bias because of who I'm subscribed to or what YouTube thinks I want to watch. And then it shows me those videos. So I have no idea. So you guys tell me what you guys are noticing and seeing in the comment section below. So as always, sorry again about the fan and the hum. Thanks for watching.